Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and AAA gaming has found itself in a really bad spot entering 2025. I really want to talk about this because most times I feel this subject matter is talked about, it's in a light of gaming's bad nowadays, it'll never be as good as the good old days, and as someone who runs a retro channel, I feel I am best fit to have that sort of conversation, hope at the end of all of it. But to get to that light at the end of the tunnel, we got to go through some darkness first, right? And 2024, I think, was a dark year for the games industry, whether it be the layoffs or the studio closures. But really, for me, it is also the absolute nosedive in AAA games quality from teams that should be providing the best in-class experiences this industry has to offer. Who wrote Jade Empire, the same person who wrote KOTOR, the same person who wrote the Mass Effect trilogy, is writing this. Of course, a favorite story in the industry is Hideo Kojima, who left to make Kojima Productions after a lot of abuse that he experienced in Konami. This was actually one of the first mass exodus that we had ever seen when it came to gaming, where he went out, teamed up with PlayStation and started his own team and has become a mercenary, now working on OD for Xbox at the same time as Death Stranding 2 for PlayStation. Accurate decision after historically inaccurate decision back to back, where it was almost tough to keep track of. They were getting sued. The main developers of the Mario & Rabbids series, which is like one of the best things Ubisoft has done, have left to go on and do their own things. AAA gaming is bleeding its best talent because they're chasing the big dollar. But I mentioned at the start of all of this that this was a story of hope. And finally, thank you for enduring all of that. That's where we get to this part, right? Look at what big developers are doing now. They build their name, they build their reputation, and they build their trade, and then go out on their own. For example, here, several Forza Horizon developers leave Playground Games and Xbox to form a new studio, and that studio is Maverick Games. As reported by Eurogamer, former Forza Horizon 5 creative director Mike Brown will lead the studio and is joined by 5 other Playground employees, and it's to work on a premium open-world game for consoles and PC, and has already secured significant seed funding. Or, you look at what Archetype Entertainment is doing with Wizards of the Coast, where they're making Exodus, and this is led up by James Olin, who was the lead designer of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and also who's writing this Mass Effect Interstellar Star Wars inspired RPG. Drew Karpyshyn, the same person who wrote Jade Empire, the same person who wrote KOTOR, the same person who wrote the Mass Effect trilogy, is writing this. Of course,
look, this is my main issue with this video from MrMattyPlays. He's not only implying all new talent sucks, which is highly debatable. New talent doesn't define a game's creative vision or direction. New talent does what they are told to do. And I am sure everybody that was learning a craft can relate to that. MrMattyPlays is also putting blind faith in the old talent, when time and time again, old talent failed to produce great games, let alone awesome experiences. Callisto Protocol, Immortals of Aveum, and even Kojima's studio first game, Death Stranding, was divisive as F, with many labeling it as a crappy walking simulator. One thing is for sure, a Metal Gear Solid was not. Now, name me 3 recent games, out of the cuff, produced by old talent with their own studios that were great experiences. And that is the problem. You can't just go out and say, wow, good games can only be produced by old talent, when there's so many other factors of play here, especially the ones that are really fucking us, that are the publishers, man. You can be the most talented man in the world. A publisher can really fuck your game.